Welcome back to the final round of day one of the Scrabble Players Championship here in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I am on site, Josh Sokol, joined with Kenji Matsumoto, who is back at home. One round left to broadcast. Evan Chester has had a very good start, starting 5-1 versus David Pearl, also doing quite well in the standings, Kenji.
Yeah, these are two players who are having a pretty good day one. Evan's a bit of a new player. David Pearl's been around a very long time. So there's kind of like a generational difference here a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah, one thing to know about Evan Chester is that he is the most improved player in 1 year of all time in Scrabble history, I think.
Okay.
He improved 800 points in 1 year. He just started playing competitively like just over a year ago. He's also a competitive Geometry Dash player, which is a really fun online game if you know about it. But he's taken Scrabble very, very seriously, and he's taken to the game so well. It's extremely impressive how quickly he's become an expert level player. We'll see if he can make it to the ultimate 2000 level, I guess, achievement. But that's the hardest one to crack, Kenji.
Yeah, there's kind of like this diminishing returns thing where it's really easy. When you're first starting out, it's really easy to gain 200 or 300 points of rating, and for the first until you get to the top levels, it's smooth sailing, and then all of a sudden you hit a wall, and then it gets much, much harder.
It looks like Evan's listening to some pre-game music. Or maybe he's wearing some noise canceling earbuds. But yeah, they're ready to go. Evan will be going first. Both players at 5-1 in the standings in the top 5. And yeah, whenever they're ready, they can have at it, and we'll see. Yeah, like you said, it's easy. I mean, not easy, but if you're up and coming and you really take to the game, you can gain a few hundred rating points. But after that, it just gets harder and harder to make gains in this game. But Evan has broken that glass ceiling per se. So we'll see how this game goes. First two tiles out of the bag, WGAENVD. So waved, probably the play here. WAVED. Probably not worth just playing VAW for the defense. And he's lining up his name. Hey, he's a streamer. He's a content creator. He likes the content. Let's see if he can lock in this game and give us a good show. On the other hand, David Pearl is drawn into Shoulder, and he's going to be able to play that or something like Arsehole next turn, depending on what Evan Chester does. And so that's a great start for him.
Yeah. I can't help but look at Evan's rack and see Dave Weekend. His tiles one letter away from. Has Dave and is 1 letter away from the weekend part of it.
That's true. Lots of fun puns to be made. We love our puns. We love our references. Waved vertically. Evan Chester scoring 32 here, and over to David Pearl now. Is he going to be able to do something better than the 8-letter word through the E?
Not really. I don't think so anyway.
So yeah, surprisingly, the play of waved only giving back ear holes or arsehole through the E.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Evan's drawn debiting and bitewing.
Whoa, okay.
So he actually has a better rack than Pearl at this point.
That's crazy. Yeah, so Evan's going to have a bingo no matter what. Does he know Bitewing? I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he does, because he does watch a lot of content, and Bitewing came up recently. But he is a newer player, so the word knowledge is really usually the thing that comes later for the newer breed of players.
He is an alphabetizer. He does through his rack immediately in alphabetical order both times. So makes it a little bit more likely you see something like Bitewing.
Yeah, so if ear holes comes down or arsehole through the E of waved, debiting will be blocked. And so Bitewing might be the only thing after David's next play, in which case it's going to be a must-see for Evan Chester.
Yeah. Earholes is a little bit more defensive than Arsehole. So I wouldn't be surprised. It is a few less points, but I wouldn't be surprised to see David actually sacrifice the points here. Knowing his style, I think that's actually more likely. I don't think that he's a big fan of opening these sorts of like huge scoring spots.
Yeah, David Pearl, a long-time expert, like you said, on the West Coast. He's been in the 1900s, 1800s for a very long time.
Yeah.
Very solid player. So earholes for 64, sacrificing 2 points makes a lot of sense. And that's all there is in the position.
Yep.
So there it goes, 64 to 32, and debiting getting blocked. SC not a valid word. And now is the question: has Evan seen Bitewing, and how fast will it come down if he's seen it? 78 points. It's his only bingo. Next best play, BIGHT maybe. It's
Something a lot worse.
Huge delta between Bitewing and best one. But with the 5 tiles that Earholes opens up, we call those floaters, EARHO. You really want to look through those to see if you have an 8-letter word. And the H is a little bit tricky because you could have an ING word, you could have an IGHT word as well. So you want to be making sure that there's nothing else to play, but it looks like Evan
It is worth knowing that even if he knows Bitewing, by the way, like Bitewing takes an S, but a lot of wing words actually don't. It's one of those like weird things. Batwing doesn't, Gullwing doesn't. There might be a few more. But the hook that Bitewing would actually create is actually like really complicated. And I don't think it's like going to be automatic that both players see it and know it immediately. It does take an S though.
Yeah. Yeah. So a little bit concerned here, of course.
He needs to.
It feels like he hasn't seen it, maybe doesn't know it, maybe he didn't see that recent streamed game.
You're often just not looking. Like I think he probably knows it, but you're often just like, oh, this rack has a B in it. Like the W is a floater. I had 2 I's. There can't possibly be anything in there. There's just no like 5 in BEITW.
Right. And so vibing is going to come down. So this is a huge miss. There's no sugarcoating it. The difference between this play and Bitewing is massive. But again, still a game for sure. And Evan Chester has a long time ahead of him to learn and find words such as Bitewing. And now over to David Pearl, who's drawn only a U as a vowel. But vibing did give him just an XU spot. But yeah, he was lining up brunch through the H of earholes. That might still be better than XU, Kenji.
Yeah. And we see another good draw for Evan. Although I don't think the Petunia or anything like that plays. You do want to look at like X setups here as well, if you can find anything. I don't see anything yet, but there certainly might be one.
Yeah, I mean, Petunia is on Evan's rack, but he's not going to be able to play bingo next turn. So maybe not such a great draw in the end.
Yeah.
Brunch coming down for 26, 90 to 52 now. And Petunias and Supinate, the only 8-letter words with these 7 tiles. Surprisingly, doesn't make any other 8s. And so now if you're Evan, you got to do the work. You got to make sure you're not missing anything with the R on the board, the E on the board, the A on the board, the ING on the board. And
it was a pretty good draw here. It's going to score like 50 next turn, pretty much no matter what.
Wow, yeah, that's a fantastic draw. The Z to go with the X when you're ahead, just being able to score over multiple moves, sometimes just good enough. And Tweez is lined up. That is incredibly high scoring, 76 points for that move. It doesn't get blocked.
Even if it does get blocked. Yeah.
So you can see how missing something like Bitewing can bite you very, very quickly at the top level.
Yeah.
Evan Chester only down 38 points here, but no matter
what are you doing here, Josh?
Yeah, I mean, no matter what, it's such a weird position. The bottom of the board is really, really closed right now. Normally, in Scrabble and in the English language especially, words do tend downward and eastward, as we would say. Most tiles, most letters will start more words than they end. So we will see eventually some space getting taken at the bottom of the board. But right now, it's looking really weird. I want to play off the P and the U, the
You can
very
put
least.
up. Yeah.
Maybe I don't. Maybe I want to keep the P. The P is a good bingo tile. But yeah, up and PE for 20 might be the play. It's just not. It's just ugly.
Yeah. AEINT too is one of those like volatile leaves that you have in Scrabble with 3 vowels and 2 consonants that bingo a lot. But when they don't bingo, your rack is generally going to be garbage. Like you're not going to have a lot of in between racks. It's either going to score 70 or it's going to score like 15, and not a lot of in between.
So
See
Pia is
PIA.
the play. The score's only 3 more. Keeps the U and blocks the board.
Yeah.
Not a huge fan of this play, Kenji.
Me
But it's
neither.
again, it's just a bad position. Nothing great to be had.
Yeah, the bottom right is now in danger of not actually getting reached at all, even despite the fact that you're talking about the eastwardness, because where are you going to access it from? There's the D is dead. Anything above vibing and Paya is dead. It's going to be pretty tough to actually access the board.
And yeah, I've been getting the bad news with Tweez coming down very, very quickly. That's 166 to 75. Suddenly, a position that was, not so bad. You're down a little bit. Um, this is very dire now.
Yeah.
And you have a U. At least you have an N. So Neem or Team on the top left. I think you just have to go there, take the points, and hope for a good draw. Maybe Neem is slightly better just because you're keeping the T for outwards from the O and ear holes. Not really sure. Usually the T is a little bit better, but not with vowels. It's
Yeah,
probably
I
not much in
wouldn't
it.
have hated trying to open the board there. I probably think I would end up with team. But if you wanted to play something like mutagen, I could probably be okay with it. Probably still wouldn't do it myself, but you do. There is a lot of value in trying to do something that addresses this bottom left problem that is going to continue to be a problem.
Yeah, so now with David keeping the X, he kept AX. He drew CAAGO, so not a great pull for him. But he's looking at playing coaxing through the IN, which I don't know. I mean, immediately I just don't like the direction that goes. Just opening a triple
Yeah,
triple. But
coaxing
if
takes an S, right? I mean that's a big problem with the play. I'm pretty sure it takes an
oh
S.
wow, you're right. Yeah.
And so that actually also like opens the board, which is also a part of the problem here.
But it's 40 points. You're not really scoring any more than that, and you're not
Yeah,
keeping good tiles with the other plays. So it's definitely a good play. But yeah, it just creates some issues. David's drawn an S. Does he know that coaxing's is a word? Is he going to try and use that to his advantage? Evan, does he know coaxing's is a word? We'll see. Right now, Evan can't do anything about that. He's got an IIU to deal with, and he's going to have to try and find a play, probably through that C, or just open the board. What direction would you go in here?
I mean, there's what? How do you even open the board? Like, I mean, I would want to open the board, but it's probably just something like mu one egg here. Um, I don't even see how you would try to open the board, to be honest. Yeah, I think you just have to play Muonic and clear your rack out a little bit.
Yeah, there's one play in the top 10 or so choices that the engine is giving that does open the board. Agouti, Agouti from the AG on the right of the board. And that's just an awful, awful looking play. Scores nothing. Doesn't
Yeah,
leave particularly well. Doesn't open particularly well either. But for this board, it does. But yeah, muonic is a 6-letter word. Will Evan know it? There's also meiotic, MIOTIC. If he doesn't know those, his next best plays are not close to as good. Tunic for 21 rather than 30. Monic for 27, keeping ITU.
it,
It's just so ugly.
if I'm in Evan's shoes, I actually probably want to keep coaxing because I think I might get a free turn off of it. And I think that also may stay open quite a while because I think that there's a decent chance, that these players don't know that. Coaxing is not an automatic S hook for almost anybody, I think. I'm not sure that either player knows it, to be honest. It's all the INGS words can be pretty hard to keep straight.
Absolutely. And if you're in David's shoes and you know coaxing is a word, you get actually, I think, much more value out of it because you're playing someone who will challenge that if they have any doubt about it because you're ahead. If you're in Evan's shoes and you know coaxing is a word, you can use it to pry the board open and potentially gain a turn yourself. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see if that hook gets used. Meiotic is lined up for Evan Chester. Evan plays in the Philadelphia Scrabble Club. He plays a lot of tournaments in the Northeast, and he goes to the same club that Will Anderson goes to. So he gets to play one of the greatest players in the world regularly. He's been watching tons of content. He's really been honing his craft, trying to learn those words, but it takes a long time.
Plays online a lot as well. It's a very prolific online player.
So Meiotic, second best play here over Muonic. There's no need to keep the U here, even though there's a Q unseen. You gotta part with the U if you can. But Evan could draw it. And over to David with 3 A's, 2 O's, an S and a V. So right now he doesn't have a single word that reaches all the way to that middle right triple with coaxings. So we're not going to see that be played yet, I don't believe, unless for some reason he decides to play Vasa. But if you don't play with coaxings, do you just exchange? Yeah, it looks like that's what's happening. Exchange 5, keeping AS. Reasonable play.
I'm gonna search for, as both players, you kind of search for hints now about whether the other person also knows coaxings, because it's by far the best scoring spot on this board. That is not a good draw. Well, it's not as bad as it looks at first.
Yeah, there's the cue. That U and brunch is going to be pretty key if that stays open for just Qua for 24.
You might actually play Souk. Like, that's actually going to be interesting when it comes out. That's actually that actually is a decision a bit.
Second S is definitely good to draw here with only 1 S remaining, but 2 blanks still unseen. So a lot of things can happen. Things could explode out of proportion on a board like this. A play from the R of earholes, an 8-letter word, just blowing the board open, could happen at any moment. But at the moment, not much going on this board. Evan Chester with Dinoruy, and I think he just has to take points here. He had Tweezer and Dry. He's looking at Erd with Tweezer. That's 34. Is it worth the 11-point sacrifice over Dry? Probably not. Just because the lane you create with the D is better, and the extra points is really nice.
The Y is really bad here. Like, this is an abnormally bad word for the Y. It's just not going to do anything. I don't even see, like, what can you, I guess it's hard to see what you can even draw. I guess you can draw like overlaps to brunch, but you're not really going to want to even be doing that because you're getting rid of like good tiles to do that. And you still have to draw the E on top of it, which you don't want to play. Plays Qua quickly.
Yeah, you just don't necessarily want Evan to know that you have another S. I think there's, on closed boards like this, when you're ahead, there's so much value in just obscuring the fact that you have an S or multiple S's, because your opponent is often going to want to draw one of them. And if you don't play it, it's just going to seem more likely from their perspective that it's out there, and they're going to make plays with that in mind. So I like this decision.
I think it's pretty close. I think in static terms, like the ADA, 2 A's is actually a better leave than the S here, but the value of knowing the S is, that you have another S is valuable here. So the knowledge difference is something that is often overlooked, but I think is an important factor here as well, like Josh was saying.
So back over to Evan Chester with Ainooy, and he has pulled the first blank. So that's a good omen for him. So how does he untangle? You said that Y is really bad on this board. Yeah, what do you do? Agony? through the G and coaxing looks horrible. Maybe no, he's looking at agony from the AG.
Yeah.
That's a way to open the board, and it actually might just block coaxings for the rest of the game. So unfortunate
Well,
for us.
unfortunately for him too, this isn't going to work out because of Sea Dogs. But
Wow.
um,
Whoa. Evan just
which
gave David a spot for Sea Dogs. You're right, and yeah, this is a must see for David Pearl.
it's the same situation in reverse. Like before, Evan needed to see his bingo, and now David needs to see his bingo. And if he doesn't, it's going to be a very large swing in the other direction.
Well, think about this. It looks like David's considering snog and coaxing, so maybe he knew coaxings was good the whole time. This would be a very high score, 37 points for a small play like that. And if he gets a free turn out of it, like we were talking about earlier, that's just as good as playing Sea Dogs now.
You still gotta play Sea Dogs.
Oh, I'm not. Yeah, obviously, you
yeah.
have to play it if you see it. But in terms of the result of this play, it might actually end up being just as good for him.
A play like Snog is like actually takes your attention away from Sea Dogs, which is kind of like one of the things too. Is like when you have an automatic play, it's very hard to like keep searching.
Yeah, we saw that earlier. Lisa Odom playing HEIR instead of Bingo of Regolith because it was just such a strong play, and it's hard to imagine something better. Yeah, the higher you get, the more you question yourself. Every single thing you spot, you're like, okay, am I missing something? Am I missing something? You have to reset. You have to just replace yourself and try to make sure that you're not missing the forest for the trees. And here it looks like David is indeed not finding Sea Dogs. He hasn't made a play yet. He hasn't made a decision, but the longer it takes, the trend is definitely towards the bingo being missed.
You can kind of see in his like body language and the way that he's moving his tiles. He's not even like looking for like candid plays anymore. He's just thinking about, do I play snag or do I play snog? That's all he's thinking about. It's very easy to get into this sort of like, oh, I have two plays, let me think about that, and just completely negate the candid searching part of the game.
No hold, no challenge on coaxing. So both players think it's a word. So 267 to 198. Evan Chester with the first blank, and a big swing in his favor after Sea Dogs was missed. So what do you do now?
Is there ever a world? Probably not, but I'm going to ask anyway. Is there ever a world that you play a joint and burn the blank here?
So a joint from the AD seems very interesting. I don't really see why you would do that over this play. You have lots of draws to potential bingos to and from the G of Snag. So
probably not.
It's an interesting idea. It's an interesting idea. And let's see. IL, so pigtails at the very least for
Plating.
Evan Chester. Yeah, plating, making the blank and end. And will David Pearl block the G? I guess it is the biggest threat in the position. With a rack like this one, though, what is he thinking of? Is he thinking about fudge?
Yeah.
Interesting. So you're up 47. The board is really, really locked. And wow, it's just like, all right, goodbye, G. I don't want to see that threat there. I'm going to score 10 points. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense, but
I don't hate it. I don't know if I do it, but I don't hate it.
And yeah, there goes Evan Chester's bingos. On a board like this, you can afford to score almost nothing. There's just nowhere to score. So if you're Evan Chester now, no bingos are going to play. You look from the L and ear holes, from the O and ear holes, the U and Erd. You come up short, and then what? Jalap.
Yeah, I think that's clear. This is the kind of board there's absolutely no rush, because even though there's not a lot of bingo lines, you can't really block them all at once. So like he can just sit with this blank for a while and just be like, oh, I'm not going to bingo. Here's 28. Okay, here's 24. And just be like, my bingos don't play. I don't care. And, just you don't really ever want to do that per se. And obviously, if he has a bingo, he should probably play it. But there's no reason to like panic open here. He doesn't need to place them on like lip. It's just not. It's just not necessary, and it's just going to either get closed. In this case, it would get taken, and David would bingo and basically end the game on the spot. Um, or it's just going to get blocked, and you're going to be in the same situation, again. So yeah, this is definitely the best.
Yeah, this is a great find. The disconnected J and A. Keeping two eyes, you don't necessarily want to do it. It's the only way to score points. And you can, like you said, you can sort of just wait in a position like this because the U and Erd is open, the O, the L, those are just going to stay there. David might try to block things slowly but surely. Then you can just open. And there's a third I and a U, though. So that's a really bad draw for Evan.
Yeah.
And David's sitting on Roseate. Doesn't fit anywhere. So it's an interesting spot. Do you try to block? You can play something like Act through the Sea of Brunch, block the O that way, but I think the L is a bigger threat. Is there some way to just play maybe just Rod?
If there was a 6 from Tweezer and SO, I would be doing that. But there's only a 5. There's only sorta, and it doesn't go quite far enough because sorta still leaves seven places over to where Agony doesn't quite block your 7, so it's not quite worth it. But if it were one tile longer, I would, if he had, let's say, an I instead, he can play Sortie, for example,
I
instead of
like
the A. But he doesn't quite. It's not quite able to do that.
I like just playing SO though. This idea he had tweezers, SO, and a do.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
It scores 28 points. You have to. I guess it sets up a sevens lane, but that'll always open a triple. But EART could turn into a lot of good stuff.
It's not that good of a sevens lane, to be honest, either. It's not like everything in the world hooks onto SO. A lot of things do, but a lot of things don't. It's not automatic. The one drawback with SO is that even though it is like not the best lane, if you want to block it like 2 turns from now, it's really annoying to block. Evan's just gonna leave it there and then just be like, "Oh, there's a good lane, and it's hard to block. I'll just, and then just take his time and then go, even if it's 3 turns from now."
But a very sensible approach. 19 points, keeping EORST. Very strong leave. David is threatening to just bingo any turn now and make it really, really hard. So the FK is the draw. David Pearl needs an I for forkiest. And if Evan Chester plays Leary, which he has lined up immediately.
I hope he doesn't play Leary. That's not a good idea.
It's not a good idea because it doesn't set up a hook for him. Oh my god, is this game over?
Yeah.
Wow.
I would actually rather
just
play
like that.
2.
Yeah, lead 2 was the first thing I was thinking of, but it doesn't take an S either.
Right.
I think maybe you had to exchange there.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't play lead 2 either. I would exchange, but if I were to play, I would play lead 2 before I play Leary. Creating openings like this is just not a good idea. It gets burned too easily, and when it doesn't get burned, you don't get any benefit out of it. Like, even if, let's say that David Pearl didn't have Receive Learius, he just plays OK and KI and OR for 34. You're still in a really, really, really bad situation where you scored 8 and David Pearl scored 34, and you're no closer to a bingo than you were before.
Yeah, and you see the reaction. I was just like, oh man, yeah, this is a tilting thing. You just gave it to him, and you're in a horrible position. There's that second blank, so that might just be curtains here. Yeah, you're right. I think it was a little bit too forced there, getting rid of the tension, not even doing anything good for yourself necessarily. Wow, that's how games end in one turn. Rough. So 256 to 373. David Pearl looking almost locked in to win this one.
Yeah.
How is Evan Chester going to try and stay in this?
I guess is actually a pretty cool way of trying to stay in the game. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily going to work, but it actually is really hard to block if you don't have the last A.
So ET for 2, Kenji Matsumoto suggesting. In the center of the board, setting up the H hook for ETH with only one A remaining and a blank to hook it. Very interesting idea. Yeah, my eye was drawn to potentially playing something like, I don't know, out hit from the O, and Forkius setting up a triple triple, and just opening the bottom of the board that way.
Yeah, I mean that's I mean you probably can actually win the game, but it's just going to get blocked, and you're racking turns kind of random at that point, and you're not really getting a lot of benefit from it because again, you open things that are probably just going to get shut down if they don't get hit, which is the problem. Although in this case, you might get like triple triples randomly if they like parallel out hit, I guess.
Yeah, so he's playing hit. I mean, the game is just like over now.
Yeah.
There's just not enough time for anything. Even ET leaving 9 tiles in the bag, that just doesn't allow Evan enough time to bingo twice, and he's down by so much.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, I think he was just dead, but I think like that's the closest try. It's just not a try that would work very much. A lot of times in like games like this, you end up in situations where you kind of need your opponent to screw up, and it's possible they'll screw up. I mean, you don't want to like bank on it, but if you're in this position, you don't have a choice. Like it's not like the people never make mistakes. I mean, we've seen it already this game where Sea Dogs and Sea Dogs was missed, and what was the other one that was missed? Bite Wing was missed. Yeah.
Yeah, so David Pearl lining up Leon, which fits with SHO, TIN, and TE. Just try and block the board as best he can. Leave 2 in the bag. That looks really strong. He's getting off of it. Maybe he's trying to look for 7-letter word with these tiles. Or maybe he wants to pivot and play some offense himself. But I think Leon is a great option here.
I think we'll just play Lee, honestly. I do think you want to block a little bit as David Pearl still. I mean, you don't need to because you'll win the game regardless, but there is benefit in making the underlaps difficult to play with. You also don't want to necessarily give away the fact that you have the other blank. You some of the time what will happen is like he'll like panic open and then you'll bingo with your blank anyway. And
so
using the
Lee in the same spot, making she and tie. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Setting up. Okay. I mean, I guess that sets up not too many things like DR, AR, AD, AS. I think Leon is a bit more defensive, to be honest, in terms of bingos. I mean, all roads lead to victory for David Pearl here. But it's interesting. I feel like timing is the best thing here. If you play 5 tiles, leave 2 in the bag, I feel like that's good timing.
I'm more partial to just trying to just like block as many bingos as possible within reason and like still leave something halfway decent. I do find that you actually get a lot of spread in a lot of cases like this where people are just like, oh, well, I have to try to win the game. And then they randomly open something when they have no chance of winning the game. And then you win by, 170 rather than winning by 80. I do think that like that is a big part of spread accumulation at this kind of point. And in theory, you should be looking for spread accumulation. So, I mean, I kind of do agree that Leon is probably better in like absolute terms, but I think that you do get a decent number of bingos by like people just frustration opening in spots like this, especially given the way that this is unrolled, where Evan's been clearly trying to bingo for a while and just not been able to. I find it a little bit hard to believe that Evan's just going to be like, oh, well, I shouldn't be trying to open anymore. I want my bingo. Give me my bingo. And he'll like open up more, especially since he already made a board opening play like Leary. He can, if he's going to do it once, he's very likely to do it again. So I would like to see David try to do something that is a little bit more spread happy, even though maybe it's not optimal in theory.
Trying to induce a mistake and trying to induce a frustration play. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Unfortunately, if he does play Lee, I'm going to see just Druths most likely come down for 85, and maybe David will bingo out.
Yeah.
But LEE making she and TIE, Druths would make shed and tier. And that's what's happening. So hopefully Evan does know Druths, DROUTHS, because that might be his only bingo here now.
Yeah, he would have bingoed after Leon as well. Or actually, would he have? No.
I'm not sure. Yeah, right now Druth's is 82. This is only bingo. And what is David Pearl going to draw? An N, an A, and the last tile there is an I. And I love how he sees bingos and immediately separates his rack into 2 islands. This is
he already had detours, obviously. What are we talking about? We already getting detours, so yeah.
Yeah. So this is harder. You have to find Druths. But yeah, I was just mentioning, lots of players do this where they sort of, you were talking about this last game where you're always assuming that your opponent knows more words than you, kind of. And in this instance, it's a situation where you're always assuming your opponent can read your mind.
Yeah.
Where David's like, oh, or can read your rack, rather, not read your mind. That would be too good of a superpower, but read your rack. So, oh, I don't have a bingo. What do you mean? I have 2 islands on my rack. But that can actually become a tell, Kenji.
Yeah, certainly
He's
can.
done this multiple times this game, where he's had a bingo that he sees, like Rose. He saw Roseate, and he didn't line it up. Might be superstition too. He didn't line it up, and he separated his tiles as far away as possible.
Yeah,
I love being able to see things like that in the booth.
Yeah. It's not natural. Like he's not just like moving them a little bit. Like if you move them and there's a little bit of saturation, then maybe. But if you're pulling them to the opposite side, it's like, wait, this is a little bit like I'm trying to show that like I'm keeping 2 islands.
Yeah,
you're doing this on purpose now. So what does that mean?
And the overall thing is that your opponent is just not noticing these things like 95% of the time.
Yeah.
They're just trying to find plays. But it is funny to see from afar. I have a little anecdote recently. I was playing a top player in a casual game, and I was up by a lot. I was up by like 80 points, and it was really hard to imagine coming back. But there was a big X spot where you could score like 90 potential points there with the 5-letter word. And it was kind of hidden away on the board. And so I was trying to look for tells to see if my opponent would give me any. And suddenly he made a play and then he started shuffling his tiles vigorously.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, why are you doing that? You must have already found your play that you want to make. You must have the X play. So I just blocked it for like 4 points. He's like, how did you know? I was like, dude, you never shuffle your tiles like this. What are you doing? It was a fun time. So Evan Chester has not found Druth's.
He looks like he's going to open the board. Like he not only does he not see Druth's, I think, but he looks like he looks. You could just see like little bits of frustration. He does see it. Never mind.
Nice. I see a little facial reaction, like, "Ooh, I think this is a word. Wow, took me long enough." Yeah, he was gonna play OD and Shed and LO, I think.
Yeah. Which would have ended, well, actually not that disastrously.
But he's found it. Very nice. 82 points, cutting his deficit. So it's definitely going to be much better for him now.
Yeah. His rack is going to be terrible, but that's okay.
Yeah, he's going to draw a V, an L, and another N. Is that right?
Y. Is it a Y?
Oh, Y, yeah.
Yeah.
VLNY. Oof. No I for vinyl. What did I just say? Vinyl?
Vinyl.
Vinyl? Okay, it's the last game of the day, folks.
Vinyl.
You guys want to go check out some vinyls? We speak English. We promise. We promise we speak English. So, anyways, endgame time. David Pearl with 8 minutes. And he does not have a playable bingo. So his little gambit of Lee, your little gambit, you both wanted to play that. Didn't work out this time. And it's time to try and find the best sequence. So with Evan being saddled, tiles like LNVY, you're going to be able to do some weird stuff in positions like this. But the first thing I see is playing Now Y over top the UT blank S, just to block Looney, Luny. This is a very complicated endgame. And Vuln, yeah. Vuln might be better to get rid of the V. But that looks pretty good.
I think outside that V, is he V stuck?
Yeah, where does the V go? That's the first question you want to ask if you're David, even though it's not your rack. But that's how you work in endgames. You work backwards. What can my opponent do? And I don't see a spot for that V. So
I think he's V stuck outside of that. So I think the first order of business is to look at, I mean, anything that blocks the U. I think that blocking the U is pretty. Those are Looney and Voln are the best plays by far. It may just be going now and going out too. Like that's the first thing you calculate, and then you kind of work backwards.
Yeah, that does both things, right? Yeah, sometimes in complicated endgames like this, you want to threaten both to play slowly and go out at the same time. And force your opponent to make a choice. Do I stick myself, play off more tiles, or do I slow play and let you just go out immediately? So yeah, we'll see what David. I assume he's going to take pretty much the rest of his time working this out, and Evan just has to sit there and wait. One of the more fun things to do when the game is lost is just wait for your opponent to try and find their best endgame play. And if they're not Nigel Richards, most likely they will not find their best endgame play.
Finding the actual best play by like 2 points here is actually really, really hard. I'm not going to even bother. You need to basically only like top engines can do this with any sort of reliability.
And
Nigel.
The Nigel that isn't here, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna run it through my engine. But Now I is
okay.
Is the one that I hope is the best play.
I don't think it is. I mean, the thing is that after the Y drop, like even L and N, they play, but they play for nothing. Does the L even play on this board? Like, I'm not even sure the L plays. L plays for 2. It plays LO. Like, oh, gold plays. Okay, gold is actually like a thing.
Yeah, gold and
matters.
All right, last chance, Kenji. What do you think the best play is? Naui or not Naui? Naui.
I think it's not Naui. So you designate the A for goad, because like that's going to be your next play. They're going to play the Y off, and then you're going to play the A off for goad, and then they're going to play off like LN somehow. And I think that's like a couple of points better. I also would not do this.
Oh, this sets up VIS.
Yeah, I would. That's part of it as well. Although that doesn't matter, I think. If he plays VIS, you're just going out. So he's not going to play VIS. He's going to play BY.
Well, now he comes down. Now and engine's still crunching the numbers.
Yeah, it's going to take a while.
It's looking like for the shorter end games, the ones that last 3 turns each, that is the best play. But with the complications of sticking Evan with one of his tiles, then yeah, potentially.
My guess is NE. If I were to guess what the best play is, but I could easily be wrong.
NE in the same spot.
Yeah, NE, NU, and ET is what I would probably guess is the best.
All right, put your wagers in, folks. And now Evan Chester, I do not envy his position here because he doesn't want to mess up.
I'm 99% sure you're supposed to play BY here.
Yeah, probably. BY on the top for 15, keeping the V, the L, and the N.
There isn't even a good way of blocking it. You have to score like NOH for 2 would be the best way to block VIS. And he's, so that's pretty painful. So like VIS is often going to even still be there if he decides to play the long game. So yeah, it's got to be VY.
Yeah. So people in the chat working on it because Scrabble puzzles are fun regardless of the result of the game. Yeah, echoing the sentiments that do not exist, but that are imitated by engines. Right now, the sequence is playing BY, followed by David Pearl playing off the blank with tweezers, followed by just VIS for 6, and followed by MEN on the top, which is now going to score 8 more points with the Y being there for BYE for 14 points. And that gives David 36 points more than what he started with on his rack. Evan also wants to work this out, wants to play this right. But yeah, it's looking like it's hard to do better than just BY. If you play only, then VIS gets blocked, and David can just he's looking over to Alan Stern, I think his clubmate, saying, "Yeah, I got this." In the middle of the game, the disrespect. Yeah, we'll see what Evan does in this final round of the Scrabble Players Championship, day 1, the North American division here. Evan Chester starting off the day 5-0 or 4-0 maybe.
No, 5-0.
No, he was 5-0. Yeah, losing his last game. He's about to lose this one. He's still doing very well. He's good. He has good spread. He has good chances to stay in it. But it looks like he's going to play only, which would lead to more complications because now David Pearl would potentially just want to block.
Just NOAs. The NO blank is probably what I imagine is happening here.
Yeah. NOH for 2 points into the blank, sticking Evan Chester with the V tile.
Playing the blank off is not much worse. Playing like fudges or something like that is like only like a point or 2 worse.
Yeah. Then after which you play tweezers, and then the E. Where does the E go?
Oh, RE and NE probably.
He's just going out. Oh. All right. Well.
Okay.
I guess that's fine too. Let's listen to the overhead mic. 18 points to go out for David Pearl.
440-371.
Nice win for him to finish the day off. 6-1.
I thought I had 430.
You have 430? Oh. Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. Yes. 430-371.
Right.
Yeah, game.
All right, nice game. Q and the... See, a lot of big stuff on my rack. I saw Arsehole for more points.
Yeah.
But it's slot the E.
I wouldn't really have had anything there. I had like debiting from the D. And once that gets blocked, my rack's pretty bad.
Yeah, nice.
Thanks. It took a while to find. I just like kind of given up for a sec after.
Saw what I had, Aeonian with that.
Yeah. So that would have made me big sad. But yeah, glad to have spotted that.
This was fortunate. This didn't get hit harder.
Yeah, I kept NEU.
I know Snog is good. They'll probably be discussing that.
Yeah.
I wanted to keep the SO for Edo.
That seems pretty reasonable. Yeah, I mean, I drew the blank after Erd, and then
That was the best bingo line, but it's kind of hard.
it's just a lot of. I never really had the stuff to hit it. Well, Fudge did end up blocking plating into that G.
PLAIT. Oh.
Yeah. And
Joe was kind of a scary play.
Yeah, I mean, it kept well. I could have missed a bingo from like the L or the O. That's not out of the possibility. I didn't see anything, but it could have been there.
Oh, over here.
Yeah, from these floaters. It's possible. But I never really. It's weird. I never really felt like my rack was so good that I could like force the opening. I mean, even with the blank, it's kind of clunky surrounding that. I mean, it's kept. Yeah, I mean, IT blank is the leaf there. It's like I could play lip, but that sets up a ton of. It's so easy to just play long ending in E there, and then I just have an S.
Yeah, so Kiff right away.
Yeah, I mean, that was ITU blank, so I'm kind of forced to open in that position, and probably Leary over Lee too.
Watch the replay and see how bad I played.
Yeah, I did tell Matt Canick to text me my mistakes. So. Oh, he wasn't doing the afternoon. Never mind.
I think it was Kenji and somebody else on there.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch this at some point tonight. I'm curious what, because again, it was.
Well,
Yeah, let's get
Please
to
don't
it.
play over there where Tweez was.
Kenji and somebody else here to take you
Find
guys
somebody
out after day one.
NU is vet, by the way, so it's not any. It's probably just NU. It's probably just dropped the N for 4.
Oh, thanks, Kenji. You're still working on it. You're the guy that doesn't like to drag these end games out. Very nice. So, all right, that was 7 rounds of top tier North American Scrabble at the 2026 Scrabble Players Championship this year in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. The whole town greeted us very nicely. Over the last couple days, there's a nice farmers market available for people to check out this morning. The weather is very hot, very humid, and the players are done. So time to go out, relax a little bit, maybe take a look at the games, talk about the games. There's going to be a lot of back and forth. What happened in my most interesting games or my least interesting games. But that'll be it for us today. Josh Sokol, Kenji Matsumoto. We had Matt Canick in the morning. Kenji, thank you so much for joining. We will be seeing you tomorrow, Tuesday. But tomorrow we have a special commentator guest as well. Will Anderson should be with us throughout the day, so that'll be fun. Yeah, I appreciate your analysis as always. Always so much fun to discuss the nuances and intricacies of our beautiful game. And we appreciate you for it, Kenji.
Yeah, thanks for having me. You've had a lot of commentary to go, so good luck and stay energized, I guess. 5 days of commentary is a lot.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot. It's going to be great. There's going to be so much incredible Scrabble, some twists and turns, some awesome plays, some big swings. So we hope to see you guys in the future coverage. We come back tomorrow at around 9:30 Central Time, US. That's 10:30 Eastern US time, 7:30 Pacific time, 8:30 Mountain time. So yeah, don't forget to like the video, share with your friends if you think they'll enjoy the coverage. We'll be back with more Scrabble tomorrow. That's it for us. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you for day 2.